Every day, you are hit with an avalanche of competing claims. Politicians demand your vote, algorithms feed you outrage, and headlines insist they have the definitive answer to how you should live. It is a relentless stream of subjective judgments and conflicting opinions. Attempting to process all this data without a filter leads to mental exhaustion. When we lack a method to weigh these inputs, our thoughts often become a collection of contradictions, making it difficult to tell the difference between our own convictions and the last thing we heard. Philosophy functions as a mental operating system, a structured framework designed to filter and organize this exact chaos. By establishing specific rules for what counts as evidence and what defines a valid argument, this system provides the clarity needed to maintain a sense of direction in a noisy environment. This system is divided into 6 main modules: metaphysics, epistemology, logic, ethics, aesthetics, and political philosophy. Together, they cover the entirety of human experience. To see how these abstract categories dictate physical reality, we are going to isolate 3 of them and observe how they function in the real world. Understanding this map changes your perspective, from simply watching reality happen to understanding the logic behind why it was built this way. Epistemology is the study of how we acquire knowledge. Once we think we know something, we use logic to test if that knowledge is actually sound. This logic engine operates on 2 tracks. Deductive reasoning works top-down, taking general rules and funneling them toward a necessary conclusion. Inductive reasoning works bottom-up, building probability by stacking specific observations. These systems are most visible when they fail. When accepted reasoning leads to an impossible conclusion, you hit a paradox. Consider Zeno's dichotomy paradox. To walk across a room, you must first cover half the distance. Then, half of what remains. Because a distance can be halved infinitely, you never actually reach the other side. Movement becomes an illusion. Resolving this required new mathematical tools to handle infinity. Logic isn't about winning debates. It is the mechanism we use to find the specific point where our reasoning collapses. Aesthetics applies this same rigor to what we find pleasing. It asks if beauty is entirely a personal feeling, or if there are universal laws governing our sense of taste. During the Middle Ages, philosophers like Thomas Aquinas argued that beauty was objective. They believed a beautiful object possessed specific, measurable properties that we could identify with the mind. One core property was proportion. The harmony of this Gothic cathedral facade uses specific geometric ratios intended to mirror the structural order of the universe. Another criterion was radiance. Illumination and color were treated as a form of clarity, allowing the observer to see an object's true nature perfectly. For centuries, judging art was a test of one's ability to recognize these structural rules. Beauty was seen as a discovery of order, not a creation of opinion. Ethics and political philosophy move from the library to the classroom, the specific arena where these ideas compete to define the future. Traditional philosophies prioritize preserving historical ideas. Mortimer Adler argued for a strict curriculum of great books, emphasizing authority, discipline, and a fixed cultural core. John Dewey's progressivism offered an opposing blueprint. He argued education should be an active, problem-solving experiment, treating the student as a thinker making direct meaning. After World War II, social reconstructionists took this further. They argued that technology and cruelty had reached the point of potential annihilation, so education had to be a vehicle for social change, training students to reform society rather than just join it. A school curriculum is never just a list of facts. It is a weaponized philosophical blueprint. It is the method a society uses to replicate its values in the next generation. The frameworks of logical proof, aesthetic judgment, and ethical education are running in the background of your life right now. If you do not recognize the philosophical frameworks governing your environment, you are acting on terms you didn't choose. Identifying these branches provides a defense. It allows you to parse arguments more effectively and understand the intent behind the laws and systems you live under. Philosophy isn't a passive academic subject. It's the underlying architecture of human life. Learning how the system is built is the first